Hey guys, it's me Keegs with a brand new video, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing the Goosebumps 30th anniversary special edition book, Slappy Beware. Now I didn't read the book, I listened to the audiobook, um, which was narrated by R.L. Stein and Joe Freya. R.L. Stein did some, I guess there's some parts in the book where he in the audio where he comes in and discusses like what's coming up. The book was split into like four parts, and then Joe Freya of course narrates the main part and does all the voice for the characters. His Slappy voice is kind of is kind of I don't want to say silly. His laugh is very creepy. The laugh he does is very creepy, but the voice like doesn't match the laugh. If that makes sense. Um, But yeah, so this book goes deep into like the origins of Slappy. Um, the beginning starts off with a sorcerer, not sorceress, sorcerer named Ephraim Blackwell. And if you're familiar with any of the origins that we've heard about Slappy, like the one I'm familiar with is that he was carved out of a coffin by a sorcerer. Um, and so the sorcerer element is still there. There's been several variations of this origin, but Stein says the one in this book is like the real one. So he's still made by a sorcerer, but um, it's a little more tragic. I'm not gonna spoil it too much, but it's a little more tragic as to why he creates Slappy. And he tells Slappy that he has to perform evil every day or else he'll go to sleep forever. Like not even the words will bring him to life. And then after that, it skips ahead to the present day for the second part. It's Christmas holidays. They got a young boy and his family. Can't remember. I'm not good at remembering names too well if I don't hear them all the time. But the boy is like a inspiring ventriloquist dummy, and he's at some kind of like I think it was a school talent show, and he's performing with his dummy whose name is Junior, and his little sister is a violin player, and it goes into like she sort of like copies him. So then later on, like when the family's having dinner, they're like, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" His sister says, "Oh, I want a dummy," and this is kind of where things get interesting. So it's revealed in this book that if you remember Mr. Wood from the first 9/11 dummy book, the one that came alive originally, in this book, Mr. Wood is literally like a think like Tickle Me Elmo basically. Like everybody is going off the shelves. Everybody wants it for Christmas for the kids and stuff like that. So and I'm kind of wondering if this like this book might take place probably before even before 9/11 Dumb One, because besides the first part of the book being set in like old century England basically, um we don't have any like timeline for like the second, third, and fourth part of the book. That we just know they take place like in the present day, sort of. But it's possible it could take place before even the first 9/11 Dummy book. Um, just because they didn't seem to know like what Mr. Wood was. I don't know if they like. I'd have to reread the first book because was that the name the dummy had like on it was written on it, or did somebody come up with the name? Um, but anyways, getting back into this book before I get distracted anymore. Uh, so yeah, so little sister wants a dummy, and her brother's like, "Oh, you're just copying me." It's like, "No, blah blah blah." Kids arguing back and forth. Of course, she gets a dummy, and it's Mr. Wood because that's what's popular. And then strange things start happening. Mr. Wood starts showing up in weird places. When she tries to do an act at a Christmas family party at their aunt's. Of course, he says some nasty stuff. Nobody believes her, and uh, finally the father gets fed up with it, and he just brings the dummy back. I think this was like the funniest part when he brings the dummy back to the shop. The shop owner's like, okay, because here's the thing, when they when she gets Mr. Wood, it's actually Slappy. It's actually Slappy, and but he's not like disguised or anything. You know, he just looks. He's got a rogue suit on. So when the father brings him back to the shop owner's like, um, it was a clerk, but yeah, the clerk's like, uh, yeah, this isn't the dummy. We don't sell this. And then he shows what a Mr. Wood dummy actually looks like, and then like Slappy just comes alive and supposed to like, it's me, Slappy, I did it again, ha ha ha. And they freak out and he runs out, and it was kind of like a crazy, ridiculous scene. Um, it was kind of it was kind of funny. Um, but my favorite part was like the third part of this book. So he ends up with a new family, basically. Um, I forget how they found him. I think they found him like on the street. It was like he runs out of that shop and ends up on some other street. But this part was like really focused on Slappy because his whole thing is that he has to perform an evil deed every day. Just it doesn't have to be like several deeds. It just has to be one evil deed. And he performs that evil deed, and then he can relax for the day. So, um, and the funniest part was the third part because we see him doing all these things, and everything he does to this family, they react in like ways that he wouldn't expect. Like nothing he really does um works out. Like there's a scene where they go fishing, and they brought some sandwiches. Well, Slappy, he puts worms all up in the sandwiches, right? He's like, oh yeah, if I eat the worms, like, oh, this is nasty. What happened? This happened. What happened? Blah blah blah. Well, when they get ready to go fishing, the dad realizes, oh, I forgot worms, and they're like, oh, well, we'll just go buy some. Let's eat some sandwiches right now. So then, of course, they open up the container for the sandwiches, and there's worms in the sandwiches. And instead of like freaking out, the whole family's like, "Oh, we need worms. This is awesome. Yeah, the sandwiches are ruined, but we can just go buy more sandwiches." So they collect the worms and go buy new sandwiches. And Sloppy just like, "What the what?" So then he's got to think of something else, and this goes on, and there's until like the end of the book, and there's a little revelation at the end of the book. Basically, not gonna spoil it for you, but yeah, this book was really fun. Definitely read it. I think I'm definitely gonna get my hand on it because I think it'll make a nice little collector's item. And I really like the cover for it too. Definitely reminiscent of the original Night of the Living Dummy book. But yeah, definitely check this out. This one is a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. So anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun making it. Um, Drop a comment, leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next video.